Let's fix the weight of the upper body. We need to do a few things to fix our weight. If we were to play back the animation, you could see that the upper body falls way too slowly when we reach into the down position, and we also are missing a hold when we reach our peak position at about here on frame 10, as well as on frame 3. So let's get started. We'll grab the center of gravity control, right click and head over to our curve editor. From there, we want to focus our attention on the position Z track. Alright, so again you can see that we fall way too slowly into the down position. To fix this, we can break our tangents and adjust the end tangents on both keys. So with them selected, we can go ahead and set our tangents to spline, and now we can start to adjust our tangency. And then to break them, we can do that a few ways. We could either, with the key selected, head over to tangents and choose break. You can see now we can move each half independently. Or another way is to hold down shift and then drag. You can see that it kind of does the same thing. So it's whatever you prefer. I prefer to just go in and hold down shift and drag. It's a bit faster using the hotkey. But take a look. What we want to do is just go in and kind of bring up our tangency. Now, if you would like to unify your tangent again, it's going to be a two-step process if you've broken it. With the key selected, you'd want to head over to tangents and choose unify, and then you can see what type of discrepancies we get when we adjust the tangency. So we'd want to then go ahead and choose auto to make sure the tangent is flattened. Alright, so again, that'd be a two-step process if we would like to flatten that tangent out and to unify both halves. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure that both are broken. Alright, so take a look now at what we end up with. When we hit play, you'll see that we have a harder hit when we move into the down position, and we have a better hold when we reach our peak position. Very exciting. Alright, so moving back to the curve editor, what we're now going to do is fix the timing that this happens. Why would we need to fix the timing? Well, take a look. When we reach frame 4, that's where the key happens, the heel is up. But if we were to go to the next frame where the foot is planted, this is actually when we should reach the down position, because this is the lowest point when that foot is finally planted on the floor. So let me go ahead and show you something. If we were to go ahead and highlight all of our keys, let's go ahead and expand the view of our curve editor, we can shift them down one frame to adjust the timing. By using our key stats at the top, we'll go to our frame field and we'll use a simple expression. That's going to be n plus 1. When we hit enter, take a look, each key is shifted over just one frame. So we could use these simple expressions to really speed up the time it takes to edit our keys in the curve editor. If we need to decrease our animation, let's say by half the amount, we can go to our value field and type in n times 0.5 and take a look. Now each keyframe has been decreased by that much. I'll go ahead and make sure to undo that, however. We don't want to make a tweak like that here, but I wanted to show an example of that. Alright, so you can see if we were to go back to the animation that the center of gravity falls much better now, much more accurately. That's really exciting. Now, the problem is our F-curve is slightly out of range, so I'll show you how to keep it in range. We'll right-click and grab our Add Keys tool, and then what we'd want to do is go to the point where we still have our actual function curve in range. So you can see that's on 15, not on frame 1. You can see on frame 1, we're out of that range. Alright, so once we reach 15, we'll go ahead and create a keyframe. Let's click to add one. Now we can right-click and choose the Move Keys tool. Let's hold down Control, hold down Shift, and now let's drag this key to clone it over to frame 1. By holding down Control and dragging left and right, we lock our movement either in time, moving horizontally, or if we move up and down, we lock it in value. Now by holding down shift, of course, that was used to clone the key. We can now take this key that's out of our range on 16 and delete it, and there we have. We have now created an F curve that stays inside of our range. You can see what I've done after that. I've adjusted the tangency on 15 and also on 1 to smooth out the function curve. Great. So if we were to take a look at the infinite curve, we could see it's very nice. So I like to take a look at the infinite curve from time to time just to make sure that everything is moving fluidly. Beautiful. All right, so again, if we were to play this back, you can see that we're getting some great results from the center of gravity. We'll need to also adjust our rotation x-axis to make sure that that is also timed properly, and it's going to be done the same way. So we'll go back to our curve editor, find the rotation x, that's the back and forth. If you do not see it, chances are you're selecting the frozen track. We want to get to the 0 track, and there it is. So again, we know how to adjust this. We'll go ahead and select our keys and shift them over. Now I would like to point something out to you. If you've used the expression and you find that the expression is still shown in your key stats, when you try to type it in, you may find that it does not work. You may find that the keys do not shift over. If that happens, simply go ahead and update your key stats by just selecting one key, and then you can go back and select multiple keys, and now when you use the expression n+1, it's going to work just fine. Alright, so we'll need to keep this in range. Let's go to frame 15. We'll right click and choose our Add Keys tool to create our keyframe. Let's right click again and choose the Move Keys tool, and let's transfer this over to frame 1. So again, we'll hold down Control Shift and drag with the left mouse button over to 1. We'll get rid of this key that's out of our range. And now let's go ahead and adjust our tangents here. Another way to adjust them is to go ahead and highlight the keys on 1 and 15. So once they have been highlighted, we can now use the Set Tangents to Smooth tool to kind of smooth out each end. From there, we can go ahead and use Set to Spline to bring back our tangent handles. So a lot of times, those are the only two tools we'll need to adjust the ends. But here you can see that we have a pretty sharp result at the end of our F curve. So at that point, we may want to just go in and adjust the tangent here, just bringing that up a bit to smooth out the function curve. All right, take a look now at the animation. Notice how much more realistic our run looks. All right, great. So once this is done, we're now ready to kind of finish up our work on the legs. So here's what we'll need to do. Kind of like what we did in this lesson where we went in and smoothed out the F curve of the center of gravity by making sure it blends well into the infinite curve. We need to do the same thing for the legs. And then we'll also want to make sure that the legs are correct in the front view. So we just have a few more steps to finish up the legs before we're ready to move up the upper body. Let's get to the legs in the next lesson.